I'm back. Okay. Hmm. Let's do some work. Actually, let me fill my teacup first. Do-dun, dun, do-do-dun, dun. Hmm. Okay. So step one, how to order packets. Let's try this bad boy on the network and see what happens. Uh, so we want to release fast, but we also want it echo. No, only 13 megabytes under this build. Okay. Okay, so we are connected to the remote server. Okay, here's my expectation. I expect this to um, work for a moment and then hit an assertion. Let's watch the hit an assertion. Okay, it's frozen. And did we hit the assertion? We did hit the assertion. There we go. There we go. So I think the way it works is that we need two things. We need to know when to give up on something. We need to know when to give up on something. Hmm. We don't know when to give up. That's for sure. That's for sure a problem. And then we need to fix this. Okay, let's So this is how we expected this to go. So that's um fine, I guess. Okay, let's go fix that assertion. So we start from media though. And because we need to change this packet a little bit. So this cannot work like this anymore. This needs to be chunk ID. Oh god. Um we need chunk max. So we get rid of this flag. Get rid of this flag. We do want to know if this is a keyframe or not though. How do we know if this is a keyframe? Well, technically we could know because it's giant compared to other packets. That's one way of doing it. Um hmm. And the thing is, so I guess the question is it convenient to discover whether this is a keyframe or not in every packet? Or is it okay to discover it only when you collect like the first chunk. For example, this could be information that you only have if it's the first chunk. How would that go? Hmm. Hmm. Well, I guess we could keep it here. Okay. Then chunk ID. And this goes up to, what is it, 15. And then there is a unused byte here. And then this becomes the total number of chunks. Total chunks. So we could do it like this. So that would mean keyframe bool followed by chunk u15 followed by unused followed by total chunks, which is another u15. Oh, we could just say undefined, I guess. I'm starting to think that putting this in front is a bad idea. Maybe it's better placed at the end rather than the beginning. But who knows? Eh, maybe it's fine. Okay, I wonder if I'm maybe doing this wrong. 015. No, that is correct. I guess. Hmm. Okay, this is all well and good. Now we're gonna need to fix a bunch of code for this. Okay, let's see. Okay, video chunk ID. Also, full chunks minus chunk ID minus last chunk. Hey, Techatrix. The entire beginning hasn't left. Oh my god. Okay, thank you. Putting false there. Um, Thank you very much. So total chunks is gonna be here called full chunks. Oh, this is the number of full chunks plus maybe one. Um, but I think it's fine. So here it's gonna be chunk ID. So we were going maximum number towards 0. We now do the opposite. We now start from 0 and go up. This is gonna simplify some logic. Um, Hello Boolean. The reason why I was doing this is because I was hoping that I could get away with not having to add to the packet the total number of chunks. I was hoping I could just use a single bit to say this is the first one, but it turns out that it's inconvenient from when you're trying to reconstruct the thing, and so it is fine to use those bytes. Um, Use a few extra bits basically to store that info. Fine. So total chunks is gonna be uh full chunks. Well, we kind of want to hoist this though. Total chunks is gonna be full chunks plus if last chunk data greater than 0, 1 else 0. And actually this can go here. And from here, then chunks. Oh no, this is fine. No, this is it. Man, now watch these tiny simplifications fuck my math completely over, and we're gonna be stuck for like an hour trying to see where the count went off. Uh, but so far seems fine. So this is gonna be total chunks. Okay, then if last chunk data greater than 0, blah 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 blah. Chunk is going to be the chunk ID is gonna be full chunk. So there's 3 full chunks which will have ID 0, 1, and 2, and so we're essentially implicitly doing +1 here. Total chunks. Hello X2. Hello Penguin. Total chunks is going to be total chunks. Okay. Okay, so far so good. Actually, why am I in casting here? I should be in casting when I create these values. Oh, this one I can't, but total chunks I totally can. U15. Okay, so this part should be fine now. Then on the receiving end, we need to look at things differently. So no more assert that this is first of chunk because also we can't anymore. Total size is max data times as u size. Yeah, it is video header dot total chunks, which we have to do, otherwise this thing is gonna complain that it's overflowing, like the cast here. Then we do our usual stuff. Video header dot total chunks. And now we're writing down total chunks in here. Oh, this is interesting. We're writing it down, but now there's kind of no need because we get reminded about it every single time. But if we don't save this, and this value changes afterwards, that is a problem because it's gonna make us go out of bounds. So yeah, let's not do this. Now we write them in order, not backwards. And everything else should be mostly the same. Chunk ID, chunk ID. Okay. Create. Actually, this needs to be. Yeah, this needs to be like this. Okay, I think we're done. This is a little bit better than what we had before. Let's see if everything keeps working or if we broke everything. Still not fully robust though. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 504. If this was a check for, is this the last chunk? Um, uh, nice assert. Saved my ass. Yeah, there we go. Oh, integer overflow. Package is one data size, blah, blah, blah. Total size, blah, blah, blah. In screen capture? Oh no, we fucked up the math. 145. I mean, okay, how is this wrong then? Oh, it's because full chunks is now a U15. Man. Okay, back in business. Okay, so far so good. Now, if we run this over the network, this is going to be fine up until it's not. Oh, it's already not. Holy shit. Okay, that did not last long. Well, could have been worse though. We're working now. Okay, frankly, I expected worse, but yeah. Um, Video thread is too slow. That's not exactly true. Is there really no way for us to get unstuck now? Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So here's the problem. The problem is on packet loss. So apparently, packet loss for video is a disaster. Audio can survive packet loss, but video just cannot. Video just cannot. And essentially, the problem that we have on the writer side is that um, we need to know whenever the reader side um, basically we need to know when to give up trying to rebuild something, because right now we don't know when to do this. So right now we keep around incomplete packets until they're done. And when they're fully done, we give them to the reader side. And the reader side will discard them if they are too old. But the problem is that on packet loss, we end up with a packet with a big UDP packet loss means that we lose a chunk of a video packet, of a video frame. Let's call it a video frame. So we lose a piece of a video frame. That video frame will never be fully reconstructed. And so we just don't know what to do next. There's probably actually there are certainly recovery strategies that I don't know how to implement, because I noticed that you cannot feed to the decoder packets. Like, you cannot skip a packet and then keep feeding the decoder and expect it to go well. I mean, obviously you expect the output, like the video, to be mangled, have artifacts, something like that. But what I've noticed is that the decoder just straight up enters an error state and dies. So we're not currently implementing all the possible recovery, like packet loss concealment strategies, let's say. Um, but at least we shouldn't like just die, because what happens is that those packets, they essentially end up um, occupying a slot in the jitter buffer, and that slot is never going to be freed because we don't have logic for like evicting them. So how do we do this? How do we do this? So I guess the point is, if our thing is too full, like what we want to do is just delete the oldest thing and then replace it. Yeah. When we fill the buffer, we definitely want to give up on the oldest stuff. So we need to keep track, I think. It's tough because there is no easy way of doing this other than I don't know. So we can keep track. Yeah, we can keep track of the newest sequence number that we see, and then we know that no matter what we do, anything that is older than that number minus buffer size is guaranteed. Actually, it's not just buffer size, but it's space available to us. Maybe, yeah, space available to us. It's guaranteed to not be something that we can afford to have. Maybe. Maybe that is the way. maybe that is the way. Hmm. Okay, let's try. So in video stream, this is a is this a packet rings thing? The index, right? Index newest sequence. Well, newest SEQ. Newest SEQ is 0. Okay. Then every time we write something, do we update the newest SEQ whenever we see something? Whenever we see any packet? Yes. Whenever we see any packet. So swap the new SEQ. All this acceptable SEQ requires having empty slices. So let's put it here. All this acceptable also slot can go here. All this acceptable SEQ is pb.newest SEQ minus pipe minus empty slices dot len. Then, well, what's the problem with this expression? Found the usize. Ah, fine. Then, when we're looking for a slot, we say, okay, either it is 0 or meta.seq is lower than the oldest acceptable SEQ. In which case we essentially take over. Okay, that seems not bad. That in theory, should allow us. Sorry, I'll be right back. Okay, let's see. Are we still working? Yeah, we are working. Okay, so in theory now on packet loss, the video stream will stop for a while. And when it resumes, but it should reliably resume after a bit. So where's my packet loss? Okay, this way I don't have to work. Where's my packet loss? Oh, what are these things? Oh, there we go. So that is a moment of packet loss. Yeah, but it's really not too bad. Let's see. So if we stop seeing these R square bracket stuff, then we know that we're in another moment where we were affected by packet loss. But so far so good. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it stopped, but it should resume. Actually, should have already resumed. Uh, no, actually, that was not guaranteed. I was not sure. Okay. No, this is fine. Yeah, this is how it should be. So on packet loss, it will freeze again, waiting until it can collect a full keyframe. And right now it's having trouble collecting a full keyframe. There we go. Now it succeeded again, and now we're good. So we have these moments of packet loss, and then it's fine for a while. Then there's a moment of packet loss, then it's fine for a while. Now, there's obviously one big feature missing here, which is on packet loss, you should be able to request a you should be able to request a to resend the missing packet, but yeah, we don't have that right now. But this works. This works. TZO, hello. I'm good, thank you. And yeah, look, screen share is working. That's that's your boy screen share in practice happening. By the way, I'm running this over the network. I'm running this on one of those super cheap um, machines. There we go. We got stuck. You look, we got stuck, but then we got a keyframe right after, and then we resumed after we got the keyframe. So this is not bad. The thing that we're missing is the ability to request missing packets, essentially. That's essentially it. Oh, and this is running. And we should not be leaking memory. 200 megabytes. Yeah. 212, 204, 8. About 200 megabytes of memory used by Awebo. Which is probably more than what we really need, but oh well. So there we go. Screen share working. So with this, we have completed this. Now we need screen share lifecycle, and we need the ability to resend packets. Like there's just no way around it. Like the fact that your screen interrupts waiting for a new keyframe, that is an event that should happen very rarely, not often. And right now it's happening fairly often. So yeah. Okay, so for resending, while I let this run for a while more, I mean, I think that this is good enough, but just to stress test it a little. So what do we need? What would we need for resending packets? Man, that sucks because it means that we need a buffer on the sender side because the sender needs to buffer some of its outgoing packets because and it needs to delay um like freeing them in a sense because because the server could ask the sender to resend something. So there's that. Problem number one. Problem number two. Hello, Louis. Yeah. Yep. I have screen sharing. And also the echo that you're hearing is my voice being played. I don't know if you hear the echo well. It's very low volume, but I'm echoing because I'm echoing my own voice back to me from the server. So this is all going through a server. So um, so the sender needs to have a buffer. The server needs to have a policy to decide when it is a good time to ask the sender for to resend some packets. And yeah, that's um that's an interesting one. I guess the way we could make it work is that we send a packet that says um end of this packet, but then what if you lose it? Isn't GPU bound at the moment? What do you mean by GPU bound? The screen sharing. Yeah, but again, what does GPU bound mean? Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what a good policy for asking a client to resend packets should look like. Oh, well, actually, 50% CPU is not that much. Um, it means that it's using 50% like of one core. You look at this graph. You see how this graph is not really. It's not using 50% of my system resources. It's using 50% of one core, essentially, kinda more or less. No, the application renders using the GPU. um, the encoding is done by hardware. So keep in mind that here we are both encoding. So we are running screen capture. Screen capture is an OS thing. It's done by the operating system, so it doesn't concern. Like it's not part of what I don't think it would show up in resources consumed by my process. Then we do the encoding of that video frame using H.265, but that is done by a hardware encoder. So there's no overhead there. There's a hardware component that does the compression for us. Then we send that stuff over the network, and in this case, we are also receiving it back from the network, and then we are decoding it. And decoding is also handled by the OS. There are software and hardware decoders. I mean, just like there are software and hardware encoders, but the decoder is it should be also hardware. Like there are limits. Like your system can only decode over hardware a limited amount of streams, so you can't decode an infinite amount of videos using the hardware decoder. At some point, you will start using the software decoder, but yeah. In any case, we are using it. These no, I can tell you why this is. This is because we're doing also audio, and I have this thread here. I have this thread here that asks for real-time uh, access to the CPU. So it's a real-time scheduling. So it asks that every thought milliseconds that it's parameterized, every thought milliseconds wants to be active and wants to be able to run on the CPU for 20% of that time. And it needs to be done within 30% of that time window. So we have a video thread that runs every 33 milliseconds. Well, that not runs every 33 milliseconds strictly, but it it um it has reserved. It has some quota reserved for it on the CPU every 33 milliseconds, and we do the same for the network stuff. On top of running the actual audio thing, like the fact that you hear myself back, it's because there's a yet another real time thread that is running. Not this guy, but it's the actually this guy should go real time too. But in any case, it's this guy right now. The media sender that is real time. And there's also a real time, actually two real time threads running for audio. Audio is the thing that really requires you to be precise because it's very high frequency and you need to be done fast. And you have this callback that calls you every 512 samples at 48K kilohertz sampling rate. So you have to provide it with samples um, right away. So long story short, audio and video, they do require for you to have some active consumption of the system. Now, could it be made better? Probably. Also, there's another thing, sorry, that I forgot to mention. A couple more things actually. Audio has a um, neural network component for packet loss concealment. So every time I run this, every time I play samples back, I also run a tiny neural network. Not every single time, but occasionally I do. That also consumes CPU. And lastly, this is a debug build of Awebo. So we can make a release fast version. Let's see if how much better it becomes. But yeah, I know that Discord uses NVENC for NVIDIA or MEF for AMD recording encoding or CPU for fallback hardware acceleration off. Not sure on macOS. macOS has its own hardware encoders. I can show you when the application starts up. Because I do collect this information. And I'll show you the specifics of this machine that I'm using. So here you can see Here it's listing on startup. I'm listing the available video encoders. There's a few ones that, this is Apple ProRes. This is like video editing stuff. The ones that we do care about are these guys, H.264 and HEVC. This is H.265. And I have hardware encoders for both of them. Again, the fact that you have a hardware encoder doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to be able to use it, because it might be busy doing something else, and so you will be you either configure it that in a way that you force usage of the hardware encoder, and it's either that or nothing, or otherwise you will have to use the software encoder. But either way, um, yeah, it's already an API provided by the OS. In a sense, it has to be, right? Because hardware encoders are hardware. So you have two ways of accessing hardware. Well, in general, you have to go through the OS, and then either the OS itself has a semantic understanding of what a hardware encoder is, or you do it through the drivers for a hardware device that provides this hardware feature to you. So in this case, the operating system understands having hardware encoders. But for example, in the case, I have not done it yet, so I don't know firsthand what it is that you need to do to use NVEnc. But I'm guessing that for NVEnc, or let's say that it's Windows, either on Windows, you have a Windows thing that understands semantically what is a hardware encoder for a media stream. And then basically in turn, NVIDIA has done the work to essentially wire the drivers to that Windows subsystem, or alternatively, you have to talk to the media drivers directly. I believe there is just no other way. It has to be one or the other. Or I guess alternatively, you don't use a hardware encoder / decoder. You just do software. But you don't want to do software if you don't have to. Okay, let's share this window. Holy shit, we're not doing great. What is going on? Oh, no. Wait, we are doing fine. The problem is we don't have all the logging that we had before, because this is a release fast build. Also, notice how it complains that the UI doesn't consume the frame, because the UI thread doesn't run if the application is not visible, which is kind of funny. I mean, it's fine. It's just a warning print. So how does it do? This is release fast. Not bad. 30-40% down from 60 plus. I'm gonna move this thing behind so that you can see that the video still does stuff. So it uses 185 megabytes. Will there be a liquid glass theme? Jesus Christ, no. Sorry. I fucking hate liquid glass. Actually, you know what? Turns out that GL is silent in liquid ass. So, yeah. Okay, but this is what you get in. Oh, I think we died. Did we die? No, we didn't. Oh, what the heck happened? Oh, I clicked stuff. I clicked something that I should not have clicked. Where did the Awebo go? Oh, there we go. Awebo is back. Okay. This was an H-top moment. So, okay, chat. Is this good enough? Is it good enough for a release, for an optimized build to take 191 megabytes and 44%, between 30, let's say between 30 and 50% of the CPU to run voice and video, both encoding, because I am streaming, and then this is an echo server, so the server is sending back my own stream. So I'm both screen sharing, and I'm also ideally, like conceptually, looking at somebody else's stream at the same time. I think this is reasonable. 1080p streaming, by the way, 8 megabits um, of bitrate. Actually, I don't think it's megabits. I think it's still megabytes. I think the bitrate is still expressed in megabytes. Let's check Discord's consumption. I bet you that it's going to be more than this, just idling there. Okay, it's downloading. Oh god. It there's let's do search. I don't want search, I want filter. So so in its defense, it doesn't seem to be using much CPU. That is surprising. What if I go here? Oh no, never mind. Holy shit, it went bonkers. Clicking made it go crazy. Okay, let's see. I'm scrolling. Also, what's going on with these other processes? So this one, the active one, is using 700 megabytes. What's going on with these guys? Why are these numbers not even expressed in megabytes, but they're so big? Or are they small? Does this mean that this is like what, 59 kilobytes? And this is 8 kilobytes? Hmm. Okay, there's Chrome Crashpad Handler, Discord Helper type utility, Discord Helper plugin, Discord Helper type utility, blah blah. macOS Discord, macOS Helper GPU.app, Discord Helper renderer. Huh. Well, when you're not doing anything, it's not too bad though. Now let's do this filter. Bring Awebo. Also, why are there two Awebos running? Oh no, this the other one is the server. Wait, what? Okay, let's run it again. So this is a Awebo GUI. This is the server. These are there's the build script running, right? Because I'm launching this stuff through Zig, so that's why it still shows up. But in any case, the actual Awebo itself is this guy. So Awebo itself, when you're not doing anything, it's 93 kilobytes, 0% CPU. Oh, I deleted the text channels so I cannot show you scrolling around. But you know what? I think I can do this. Let me show you what scrolling around ends up looking like. No filling chunk. Okay, let me update run server run. This is just debug logging. It's fine. Actually, no. You know what? I like this debug logging. I want to keep it. Okay. Okay. Now I should have a server uh, with a bunch of chat channels. There we go. Let's see what that looks like in HTOP. So this is a Awebo GUI, and CPU usage should go up as I move my mouse around because this is an EM GUI application which re-renders. Okay, so it is definitely using CPU. That's for sure. But memory is fixed. So this is the a mildly interesting thing. So you see how memory um doesn't go up really much even though I'm scrolling up. It's because I'm paging this memory. So basically I only have a fixed number of messages present in memory at a given point in time, and whenever I load old ones or new ones, then the old or new, depending on the direction, just get freed. So it doesn't accumulate more memory the more like you scroll around. Which GUI toolkit do I use? I'm using DVUI. I'll also send it on YouTube. So you can see that it does use more CPU than the other guy because being an immediate mode GUI, it just really does more work when when you re-render. And like if you move your mouse around a lot, you can go up a lot with CPU usage because like the frame rate is kind of unbounded. I guess I could put a limit on the frame rate, but which would limit CPU usage, but that kind of comes with the territory. Anyway, you know what? There might be an argument against immediate mode GUIs. B top, not H top. The fuck is B top? Is this gonna be a top that occupies more memory than a Awebo to monitor a Awebo? Holy shit! What is this thing? Wow. Okay. Jesus. Fine. Okay, now it's graphing. Oh, now nice. So this graphs CPU usage over time. Red letters are hotkeys. Understood. Thank you. I have to say, as a colorblind person, I find it just distressing, but I get it. Another thing that I don't get is why is this shaded? Like I understand that the stuff at the top is the one that you care about the most, but why are you applying this shade? I mean, it looks cool, but it's not exactly the right move in terms of functionality, I think. Holy shit. TTY. Ah, my eyes. Where's Are You Dark? Actually, Are You Mirage? There's just Are You? No Are You Mirage? We'll go with Are You. Okay. Yeah, better, I think. Cool. So we're looking at a Awebo GUI. Select. So how do you filter though? Can you filter? Info enter, terminate, kill, signals. These things are missing symbols. F for filter. Oh, here. You're right. Why does it make me type in there? It's so tiny. God damn it. No. So clicking out disables it unless you, I guess, have to confirm with enter. Okay, so enter confirms. And now we're zooming in on Discord. Okay. 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 Oh, there's also network. Right after the corner. Oh, let's go. Turbo mode. How's the screen share quality? You can judge. Wait, why is my BTOP not updating? Oh, if it's not visible, it has to be a little bit visible. Otherwise, it doesn't update. Is the VUI refreshing the whole app when it's rendering a video frame? Yes, that's kind of what you get with immediate mode GUIs, right? Although, to be fair, I do think that there might be a way to kind of create like a special shortcut for this specific use case. But I think it's not. I think the UI doesn't implement that. I don't know if other immediate mode GUIs do this stuff. So long story short, I don't know. Okay, I zoomed in a lot in in the screen share image, which I don't know. I guess it gives you some feedback, but it doesn't tell you much. I'll especially if what you're looking at is another video encoding of my screen. So the answer is that this is currently is a 1080p screen share with 8 megabytes of bitrate. So 8 megabytes of bitrate is a lot for something that doesn't have like much movement in it. Um, so I don't know. This doesn't seem bad. Yeah, there is an echo. And because I'm in a call in an echo server. Like here, I'm in a call with myself. And you know what? I'm gonna mute myself. No more echo. There you go. Just my testing setup. So what was I saying? Yeah, it's 1080p, 30 frames per second, 8 megabytes of bit rate, which I believe it's a lot for this use case. But obviously this is all stuff that should be configurable, but well, right now no, you can't, because I would have to parameterize this. Oh man, you know way too much Italian stuff to claim that you're not Italian, man. Seems to be much lower than Discord. You mean in terms of delay? Yeah, CPU usage and memory. Yeah, in some ways it is. In some other ways, we did see that when the immediate mode GUI updates, it does burn more CPU than Discord, because it's well, repainting the scene entirely instead of just doing some kind of delta update. That being said, I think it's fine. So isn't RAM more expensive than CPUs nowadays? Uh yeah. So what do we want to do next? So the next problem that we need to tackle is lifecycle management. So right now, I can start my stream, and that's awesome, and everybody will see it. But also, maybe there should be like a more rational way of showing the stream rather than a floating window that you can resize, breaking the aspect ratio horribly. I don't know. Um, the second problem is that if I press screen share off, I will stop producing the screen share. But on the consumer side, I don't know that that the stream has stopped. So basically, the next step is to communicate when a stream starts and stops, so that uh, we know to, well, not only stop showing this, but also to, we need to know when it's a good time to deallocate resources. Basically, when we stop screen sharing, we should shut off the entire video stream on the receiving side. And right now, this is not wired in. Mm, yeah. Hello, Neurosite. Check this out. I have screen share working, and I don't know, it works fine. And actually, right now, I'm running this on I'm running this. Well, no, actually, sorry. This is a local test, but previously, earlier, a moment ago, actually, well, a few minutes ago, I was running it against the remote server, and it works. Is this cross-platform already? No, not at all. Sorry. I've written code to hook into macOS APIs to get access to hardware encoders and decoders, and like I wanted to do hardware accelerated, well, the like I guess a native approach with which can give you access to hardware acceleration instead of doing everything in software. So the end result is that yeah, this is Mac only. So some brave soul will have to learn how to write the same stuff for Linux and Windows. Is the UI fully customizable in terms of UI elements? Yes. I'm not doing a good job at using the UI. Like the UI that you're seeing here, it's complete crap, and I have not even attempted a little bit to make it not crap, because I'm still trying to get the basics working. But um, yeah, every single widget you can customize, and the point is not just that you can customize widgets. The point is that the widgets that the UI gives you, they're just convenience. Essentially, you can make whatever widget that behaves in whatever way you want, that renders in whatever way you want. You just have to go, through the work of defining these things if you want to own them. So, like, I don't know, like, you don't like a button that works this way. You would like a button that does, something fancy or whatever. You just have to code it essentially if you want. So I'm saying this because I'm trying to think about myself in the past and what I think is people's impression of UI frameworks, where they tend to judge the UI framework for the styling of the widgets that you get out of the box. But that's essentially irrelevant. That is very close to irrelevant, because you can always customize these things and define them from the ground up. Um, does the screen share also share audio? Currently, no, but enabling that in macOS is trivial. The problem is that I have yet to design how that audio screen share should work. The problem mainly is that I cannot reuse what I've already done with voice, because in this case, because the voice audio stream is essentially allowed to play with the jitter buffer and um, uh, introduce more latency to compensate for bigger jitter, or reduce latency in case that there is not much jitter, kind of however it wants. The problem is that I cannot just do that the same way with audio that comes from a video stream, because audio that comes from a video stream is has to be in sync with the video. So that audio has to somehow share at least some code path with the video. So I have not implemented any form of audio video synchronization yet, and I don't know. I have to learn how to implement that. Keep in mind that I got video working only today. Like, if you look at my stream yesterday, we were like not doing well. We were really not doing well. I learned all the things that I was missing. So here's one thing that was funny to learn about video. When you have a source that's supposed to give you video at 30 frames per second, it turns out that it does not give you 30 frames per second. And the reason why I'm finding this surprising is because that is not the case with audio. Like, with audio, if something is supposed to give you 48K samples per second, you get 48K samples per second. And if the thing is pooping itself, how can I say? Like, things can go wrong, but the system does try to keep up and produce 48K thousand frames per samples per second. With video, it doesn't. With video, you ask for a 30. Actually, it tells you that it's giving you 30 frames per second, and then it gives you kinda 30 frames per second, but not exactly. So one problem with the original implementation of this is that on the receiving end, I was scheduling a thread to run every 33 milliseconds. Um, and every 33 milliseconds, I would consume a frame from the video stream. Problem is that actually the producer of those frames was not producing 30 frames per second. And it's not like occasionally it was falling behind and then it was compensating. No, it's just it decides that actually it's running at a lower frame rate, or that occasionally there's a bigger delay between two frames, and that's it. And then it just doesn't give a fuck. It does not attempt even remotely to keep an average frame rate of 30 frames per second. It just does whatever it wants. So I learned that the only way to display this stuff correctly is to send timestamp over the network, which so far I have not had to do with audio. But with video, I have to send the timestamp of when a frame was generated, which I make relative. So I don't send out like absolute times. I send out times relative to when the stream was started. And then basically the playback thread has to learn from every frame how long it has to sleep before the next frame, before it's time to display the next frame. Kind of bonkers. Truly kind of bonkers. So anyway, let's run this on the remote server. I want to see some suffering. So for the just so that we don't just so that we don't make people think that things are better than they actually are. Uh, so this is the remote server. One thing that you will notice is that occasionally the stream will freeze. What happens is that when it freezes, it's because we were subject to packet loss, and right now we don't have a system for recovering from packet loss. As long as you see it moving, it's fine. But okay, then you will see that it freezes. It will freeze for, could be small freeze, could be up to 2 seconds. If we're unlucky, it might be 4 seconds even. But then it resumes. It will resume every single time. But long story short, if we are unlucky and we lose a pack, even a single packet, that's going to be a freeze, because we essentially will need to wait for the next keyframe before we resume the coding. Or given how I set it up, there are ways to set up also uh, a better recovery, but I haven't done that yet. So in any case, what you're seeing here is essentially the state of using this feature, I guess, today, as of today. But it's not that bad. I mean, yeah, now it's frozen. Let's go. Yeah, now it resumed. But could be worse, I guess. Also, I feel like that this estimate of how much data we're sending and receiving is not 100% correct. Like like we should be sending data somewhat constantly. Like the occasional 0 kilobyte per second, I find suspicious. Hmm. Or actually, maybe I'm wrong. No, I have to be that number has to be wrong. What TUI lib is this? I don't know. This is BTOP. I don't know what they're using. I didn't know about BTOP until earlier today, so absolutely no clue. Is the FPS limited on the renderer? You mean the DVUI GUI renderer? No. The faster you move your mouse, the more FPSs you get. We could probably cap this. It might not be a bad idea to cap this at something like 120 frames per second, something like this, or whatever the screen refresh rate is. I find it kind of surprising though that this number stays to. I think that when it doesn't show up, there is something that should happen that doesn't happen correctly, and this thing fails to sample correctly the network activity. Like I suspect that when it's not when you're not like um, doing mouse over it, it just like the thing that should produce these numbers sleeps instead, because there is no way that our that we go to zero with our network stuff. Oh shit, this is what happens when you resize Windows. Terminal size too small. Yeah, in any case, this is not too bad. Okay, cool. So, um, screen share lifecycle and resending packets. Those are the two things I want to worry about. Okay. What do we want to do now? I think I'm gonna work on screen share lifecycle, and I guess the thing that I worry about is this: I want to be able to close the screen share. I want to allow people to close the screen share. The clean way of doing it would be to um, integrate this with the server. So one thing that I'm not doing right now is that you don't. It doesn't work like Discord where somebody starts a screen share and then you have to opt into it. I want to introduce that, but I don't do. I don't have it now. I think that what I want is just an X button, like just an X. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we should have an X button that allows you to close a stream, and then the second is a um, the second is a local preview of what it is that you're sending out, which we do have already, kinda. It's just that I haven't wired it in. But right now, I'm seeing what I'm sending. Well, I'm seeing my own screen share because I'm in an Echo server. But if you're not in an Echo server, then you don't have any feedback of what it is that you're screen sharing, and you should have that, which should not be a actual video stream that you have to download, but it should be like a local playback. And we have support for that. We just need to make it happen. So um so how are we gonna do it? Well, how are we gonna do it? Yeah, this should actually not be a big deal. Okay, give me a sec. I'll be right back, and then I'm gonna start working on this stuff. Okay, tea is almost ready, and I'm just gonna wait for to go grab it. So I think that the full list of remaining to dos is this: screen share life cycle, then, or well, let's put it this way: ending screen share, sender, and receiver. Then I think that having a software implementation. So I didn't want to do the software implementation first, but having a software implementation might not be a bad idea. Um, if we make a software implementation, that means that we can, um, well, that everybody can use it at that point. At least we should have a software decoder, I guess, like as a starting point. Yeah, as a starting point, we can have a software decoder so that we can test the software decoder against our Mac hardware encoder. Yeah. The problem is that if we do software encoder decoder, should we try to have an H.265 software encoder decoder? I don't know. Maybe we should have a. I don't know if there are any, if they're like fast enough. So maybe we might need to do H.264. But if we can do H.265, that would be better, I guess. Actually, yeah, that is a good question. When you don't have a hardware encoder on end, is it better to do H.264 software or H.265? I guess the answer depends on how much CPU you have, huh? Software decode is probably a waste of time. You think so? Yeah, but wait, okay, but what if you don't have a hardware decoder? Because the format, so I think that the way the format is gonna be, like the way it's gonna go is that the format is decided by the sender. So whoever is starting a stream decides whether to use H.264, H.265, or AV1. And then on the receiving end, you have to adapt. So if you have a hardware decoder, fantastic. But what if you don't? And for example, AV1 hardware decoders, I mean, there aren't that many AV1 hardware encoder eaters, but some are out there. And yeah, you'll have to do something on the decoding side. I don't follow your point, Neuroside, though. I don't follow your point because so if the stream is H.265, not everybody we have will have a hardware H.265 decoder. Many will, probably most people will, but not everybody, right? And then AV1 especially. I don't have an AV1 hardware decoder. Actually, I don't think I even have an AV1 software decoder provided by the system. Yep. Yeah, I don't even have a system provider um AV1 software decoder either. So like AV1, I would need a software decoder to play an AV1 stream on this machine. Okay, I'm gonna go get my tea and then let's implement ending a screen share. Okay, so let's add a close button, I guess, to that window, to the floating window. So this is in voice panel. This is the texture update, render texture. And then we should have a button in here. dvui.button. Label is going to be close. Um, gravity x equals 1, gravity y equals 1, floating top right. But it should be floating. Let's see what happens. Okay. Puts it at the bottom right. That works. That's fine. Okay. So um this should the init the thing. So we have the color. We do color dot screen. Oh, which we already have, which is screen. Hmm. I wish the color had knowledge if it's ourselves. So yeah, this is gonna be slightly awkward, but it's fine. So let's see if we can interrupt a stream and resume it. Screen share on, screen share off, close this, still alive, screen share on, yeah. Except this is stuck. Oh no, it's not stuck. It's if I close this, it's gonna reopen. Yeah. Okay, that's funny. Stop, close, and we should be good. How are we doing in terms of resource consumption now? Um, Sorry, I'm gonna switch back to HTOP. I'm not gonna use the turbo fancy BTOP. Eve Awebo. Wait, there's a BTOP running. Did I not close it? Why is there a BTOP process on? Well, in any case, so Awebo is here, not leaking memory, not using much CPU. Join again. There we go. Screen share on. Stop screen share. Close. Leave. Join. Screen share on. Share window. Screen share off. Close. Leave. Uh-oh, we're stuck. Something went wrong. Okay. I might have actually received a rate limit um, message. Actually, I might have been doing too many things too fast, and the server might have sent a rate limiting message, which we do not handle correctly in the client right now. In any case, this seems enough. So this is how you close it, and it works. Did you know that BTOP is written in C++? I would like to know, why was there a random BTOP process running God knows where? Because I did close the ghosty window that had BTOP in it. So why was the process still on? Look, Okay, it's gone. I don't know. Okay. So ending screen share is not too bad. I need to test it with multiple people in a call. But this is actually kind of useful. So actually, this one is not finishing touches. This one is extra stuff. So I mean, that was it. Mm, that was kind of it. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. Um, I think we need now to get to a point where we can commit this code because I've been working on it for a while. Oh no, wait. We want the preview. We want the local preview. We definitely want the local preview. So how does the local preview look like? Hmm. Also, you know what I noticed? I never tested this, but I just realized that with the current architecture, so here I have this floating window, but if I switch channel, the floating window disappears. Like this is a floating window that you can move around, but it only exists within this view. It only exists within this view, which is kind of funny. Um, well, uh, yeah. Oh well. What can you do? So we should do the preview now. So how does the preview look like? So the preview needs a label that says preview. Also, let me see. Can I screen share the entire screen? I never test this. Does it work? Yeah, it does. And the close button is here. So this is exactly what I wanted. Perfect. Okay. Would be nice to log the aspect ratio. I agree. I definitely agree. The problem is that this is a floating window behavior, which I don't think there are configuration options for. Which I mean, it just means that it's not convenient for me to implement it, so that's why I'm not implementing it right now. But yeah, eventually we should do that. But if it was super convenient, I would have done it already. Unless there is a convenient way and I'm just missing it. Let's see, floating window model rect center on open flag resize non all. Place it in a rect in the floating window. Oh, window avoid. Nudge away from previously focused sub window. Might land on another. Nudge away from all sub windows. That might be cool. Window avoid. Stay above parent window. Although I don't have a way of showing up more than one of those things at a time. So Okay. Um, what else? Mm, mm, mm. Right, previous stuff. So in active call, we have the concept of being in screen share. Yes. So if this is on, I think the screen share box is probably should be goner at this point. Hmm. Okay, maybe we can do this. In voice panel, we can say that we have as state. There's a screen preview. Missing struct field sub views. Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. Oh, error union is ignored. Wait, what the heck is this? Oh. Hmm. We try this? Yeah, we can try. Cool. So that, and in screen capture, Actually, it's not us here. Um, it's not us here. It's screen capture.m. Yeah. So this should do it. Now we should see two previews. One because we are in an echo server, and one because it's a local playback. See how we do. Yeah, there you go. This is the local preview, and this is the network preview because it's an echo server. Not bad. Let's say that local preview is a local preview. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so we have this as well. I think that the only thing that remains is refactoring the audio stream. So the idea is that from audio.caller we move to audio stream as a separate thing. And I think at that point we can push. So let's go to audio.zig. Here we have the concept of a caller. Here's a jitter buffer. Hmm. So this stuff interacts a lot with the OS, the audio. You know what? Maybe a separate audio stream file might not be a good idea. Maybe audio should just be audio, period. You know what? I think yeah, it might be too early. It might just be too early. And so here's what we do. We go into jitter buffer and we take jitter buffer and we copy it into audio stream. Sorry, into audio. Audio stream is going away. $28 errors. Restart. Shadows declaration of restart. Okay, reduce the number of issues. The problem is that there's too many things named restart. Like, what the fuck? What is that restart complaining about? This restart? That makes no sense. No, it has to be an outer thing. Yeah, it's this function. Okay. I'm not even sure we use this function, do we? Hmm. I need this until yesterday. I don't know. It's going to be a while before this becomes generally usable. But you know what? We are already at a point where very close to being able to run Awebo developer meetings in Awebo, which is going to be super early adopters, like people that work on the project. But we're going to be able to have meetings on the tool itself. Um, it's not yet ready though for general usage. Sorry. Okay, we build. I think we only need to align the dummy interface for all the newer changes that we made to the decoder side to video stream mainly. And after that, we can push. Would be cool if we could federate between instances. I'm not going to do that. The idea behind the Weibo is that you have your own server and you don't really like or care. You don't care nor like other server instances. And so you don't want to have your server chit chat with those instances, except for RSS feeds. So this is probably not what you meant when you said federate, but RSS is a form of, well, maybe not federation is the wrong word. Maybe syndication is the better word. But the point is, the idea is that your channel can have an announcement. Sorry, your server can have one or more announcement channels, or somehow things that are like publicly available on the internet. If you want them if you want them to be public on the internet, and then other servers can essentially subscribe to your RSS feed. So your announcement channel will have an RSS feed of announcements, and other servers can pull from that RSS feed if they want to. To me, that is the full extent of any form of interaction between different servers. Nothing more than that. That being said, it's how can I say? I have my own opinions, but setting aside my own opinions, the point is that this is how this one tool I believe should work. Obviously, if you want things to be different and you might want something different, I'm not saying that necessarily this is the one true way of doing things. But there are already federated systems, and I personally don't like that aspect of them in general. So this is a different tool. Okay, so what are we doing? We are doing Zig build CI, and we're watching CI fail. I already strongly suspect this is gonna fail. I'm not even gonna bother stare at it run. I'm gonna go directly to video stream. And I think we have a dummy interface in here. Let's take a look at if it has everything it needs to have. Well, for example, I think it doesn't have a frame. Dummy needs to have a frame. Oh, this is still running and has not yet pooped itself. So there's this. I guess you don't really need federation for this coastal application. Well, I mean, if you want, you could do it. And that would allow you to have essentially one account that you can, you create one account on one Awebo server. And then in theory, through federation, you would be able to log also into other servers with your one account. So that's one feature that you could have from federation. But yeah, I would argue that would be mostly it, because it's not the same as, I don't know, like Mastodon, where you want to have essentially a global, conceptually you want to have a global network, but then you also want it to be decentralized, and so you need to do all the shenanigans required to make that work. But with something like Awebo, which something roughly speaking like Discord, you don't want that. You mostly chat. You want to chat with the people in your server. You don't want to chat with people in other servers. Like, you go to other servers. Like, the whole point of this whole system, right, is that you go to other servers if you want to chat with people in that server, which in a sense is kind of the opposite of what, for example, Mastodon is. And so, yeah. Okay, we already had some failures. Unable to find framework video toolbox. Right, we have this problem. Let's see. Let's see if syncing with master is gonna fix it. In the meantime, let me, you know what? Let me cancel this. So I'm gonna cancel this, and then let me just at least eyeball that this thing does the right thing. So first of all, this guy should not have externs because it doesn't know what to do. Then init format first frame data, init format first frame data, yes. The init, and then decode new frame. Yeah, this is still the code packet. Okay. I'm an ex-MPP nerd and I like federation, but I accept that a solid Discord alternative is what the world wants and what my mom would understand. Mhm. Okay, here we're still good. Man, okay, so there have been some changes in this. There have been some changes in there are going to be some changes in this commit. Capture packet ring is gone. Jitter buffer is now, well, it's not exactly gone. It's now it's duplicated. Jitter buffer now lives, its soul lives inside of audio, and then video stream has its own. Also, video stream does not show up in here because it's not added. Yeah, that's more like it. That's in build that changed. Oh, we added video toolbox. TUI is missing video format. What the fuck does access denied mean? These guys give me access denied. Okay. So we're gonna commit with well, it's called the work in progress for now. Git pull rebase. No conflicts, please. Thank you. Zig build CI. Or is this gonna need a new version of Zig? This needs a new version of Zig, right? 2821. 2821. No, watch it shit itself like super fucking hard. And I'm never gonna be able to commit my changes. You know what? I haven't updated my Mac in a while. I'm starting to think that I'm getting at a scale where I could use a newer machine. M5. Oh, we saw an error flash. We saw briefly an error flash. I was impressed with what the Revolt chat kids were able to accomplish, but running their software stack seemed insane. I agree. There, like, I decided to jump into this project not because I really wanted to, but because I kind of felt I had to, because none of the alternatives seemed reasonable to me, and that includes also Revolt. I do think that Revolt is one of the most serious attempts, if not the most serious attempt at something like a Discord alternative. But yeah, it's just too much. A web. This is what the Awebo stack is going to look like. The web executable, a config file, a SQLite database. That's it. That's all you're going to have. And for example, if we want to send emails, I will implement SMTP inside of Awebo so that Awebo is going to start sending out emails, etc. So it's not going to have like a bajillion different dependencies, a bunch of containers that you have to run. Like Revolt has Redis, RabbitMQ, MongoDB, Mini.io, which has been abandoned, a bajillion other containers. So like, yeah, fuck all of that. One executable. That's it. That's the dream. We'll see. Maybe there will be reasons to not do just one executable. Maybe it will be slightly more complicated. But the point is that I'm not gonna do something more complicated without without understanding the trade-offs. Because to me, it seems like there are a lot of software developers that don't realize that they introduce essentially what is technical debt that they will never repay themselves. They will always leave that technical debt in there, and then interest is going to be paid for, or what is going to be paid by uh, administrators, people that have to run that software, that will have to deal with the thing shitting itself, doing occasionally crashing, etc. So like, no, none of this with Awebo. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to be bug free. It's not going to be bug free, but it's not going to be, bugs that are not even considered bugs because it's just bad behavior. 10 dependencies in function with non-void return type implicitly returns. Okay, video stream 239. You know what? Maybe not returning an garbage memory might not be a bad idea. I mean, you should never get that far, I think, but still. Okay, we're in business. That was it. That was the only error remaining, it seems. Okay. Green CI. Okay. Init screen share. This commit changes a few things. Changes quite a few things. Media. UDP media packets have now. Actually, even before then. New user, new client, ID system that actually this is new user slash client slash stream ID system that uses 32 bits for everything, meaning that an Awebo server can have what was it, 67 million users. Each user can have 16 clients logged logged in, and each client can create 4 media streams: voice, screen, webcam. Don't know yet what the fourth one should be. Then UDP media packets have been updated accordingly. Yeah, Stoat is the new name. I guess it's because Revolt was dangerously close to, I don't know, Revolut maybe, or some other brand, or they decided that it, I don't know, that the name was semantically too close to Discord. So you know what, you could have new trademark wars where you're not looking at the name being you know, very similar in terms of how you write it out, but like you look at what's called like vector similarity in an LM space, and you complain that people are going to be concept squatting your name. I don't know. In any case, they decided to rename for whatever reason. UDP media packets have been updated accordingly. Uh, when in an when in a voice call, it's now possible to start screen sharing macOS on, but the video encoding coding backend is only implemented at the moment. What else did we do here? Oh, you know what? We also need to delete media backup. Hmm. Um. Some ring buffers, some ring buffer implementations have been deleted. Some new ones have been created. E.g., video stream dot jitter buffer dot packet ring. Screen share is still very POC quality, but you can create and interrupt. It's very POC quality. The main current limitation being that if you lose a packet, then the video encoder will wait for the next keyframe before resuming the decoding, which might take a few seconds. Oh, the sender will produce one keyframe every 2 seconds, especially if you lose a piece of the next keyframe, etc. Uh, uh, you clearly need the ability to resend. Let's put it this way: packet loss concealment for video could be improved, but ultimately, we need the ability to request the missing packets get resent. But it's a story for another commit. Okay. Oh shit! I forgot to delete that file. I need to do that now. Um. Oh shit! Where was that file? Was it in client? Okay. Where's that file? Media backup. Protocol media backup. Okay. Okay. So the changes have been pushed. Maybe we can add a message. This is not my issue tracker. Actually, more than POC is more like an MVP. Oh god, I pressed a button thinking that I was in my editor, and I don't know if that had the side effects on what I typed. Let's see. Did I have implemented functional screen sharing MVP for macOS? We need more native backends to access hardware acceleration, and we need software fallback for when the OS has nothing to offer. The best formats are yeah, these guys. Okay. Okay, this is not bad. So I think really the next step is more testing and a software fallback, because the software fallback is in a sense universal. Like as soon as we have a software fallback, essentially every platform will be able to encode or decode. Maybe encoded will be crap, but at least they will have decoding ability. So that means that they will be able to participate to a screen sharing session. Um, well, that's it. That is it for me. So here's what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna call it a day, because I have to prepare and go out tonight. But yeah, that was nice. By the way, Julian, thank you for the video toolbox update. That was very nice because that allows me to merge everything and be able to test with the CI task. Awesome. So thank you all. And I'll see you next time. Let me see if there's anybody that I should be raiding. No, Togglebit went away. There's Ethernet cable. You know what? I'll raid Ethernet cable. And yeah. Go watch some more Zig doing um, audio video stuff. Used to do like more Zig being used to do audio video stuff. Anyway.